former FBI agent is kidnapped in Iran. Now the U.S. government is under fire as they negotiate his return. We'll tell you why.
And the battle continues over a Southern California monument as a judge orders it removed.
It's a winter wonderland in San Diego where you can go ice skating this holiday season.
And winter officially starts in 8 days. Is San Diego going to see a warm-up? Up to about that. I'll be here to tell you all about it. Newscene starts now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Dallas Richter.
And I'm Charlie Viramontes. Thank you for joining us.
We start today with breaking news out of Centennial, Colorado, where one person was killed in a school shooting. It happened at 11:30 this morning at Arapahoe High School just outside of Denver. What we now know is that 2 students have been taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds, and 1 is in critical condition. According to the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department, the suspected shooter is dead from what authorities believe is a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This comes 1 day before the first anniversary of the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. Meantime, information has now surfaced about the kidnapped American in Iran. Cameron Brinkley has more details on that. Cameron?
Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, Charlie. A former FBI agent is being held in Iran for the past 7 years, actually was sent by the CIA to dig up information, reported by the Washington Post and the Associated Press. Bob Levinson was employed by the FBI for over 30 years, but in fact was contracted by the CIA to go undercover in Iran and was kidnapped. After the story ran on Thursday, Secretary of State John Kerry has taken interest into the Levinson disappearance.
We have raised the issue of his whereabouts on a continuous basis. I have personally raised it with the Iranians in the course of our discussions, and we will continue to try to seek his release and return to the United States.
Kerry has been in contact with Iran and is insisting on getting Levinson back home to his family. Sources have said that the CIA has paid out over $2.5 million to the Levinson family over a lawsuit that was filed.
All right, Cameron, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cameron. And embrace the suck. That was the message Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi passed on to colleagues as Congress came to terms on a budget deal. Speaker of the House John Boehner feels these are the steps the government must take.
You know, I came here to fight for a smaller, less costly, more accountable federal government. And this budget agreement takes giant steps in the right direction.
The bill would prevent another government shutdown. It also sets federal spending for this fiscal year as well as next year at just over $1 trillion. It would also eliminate $63 billion in forced spending cuts from the military and other programs through sequestration.
The mom of a 6-year-old Colorado boy who kissed a classmate and got suspended for sexual harassment is now fighting back. 6-year-old Hunter spent the day at home instead of at school after he was suspended for kissing his girlfriend. Both Hunter and his mom, Jennifer, admit he's had some trouble at school in the past, but don't think he should be labeled as a sex offender.
Have you been trying to be good at school?
Yeah, but I just have a lot of energy. 6-year-olds, they have a lot of energy.
The superintendent at Hunter's school district says Hunter's record will remain within the district and that Hunter's actions fit the school policy description of sexual harassment.
And a local landmark will no longer be able to stand on top of a mountain. Mount Soledad's controversial cross has been ordered to be removed by a U.S. district judge. The cross has stood since 1954 in honor of Korean War veterans. But lawsuits have plagued the landmark dating back to 1984 and most recently was thrown out in the U.S. Supreme Court. One agreement had the cross being transferred to a local church, but more controversy led to the results that was made earlier this week.
Former Mayor Bob Filner vows to move forward as he learned his punishment for sexual harassment scandal that resulted in an epic fall from grace. We have the moments Filner learned at his sentencing at the downtown courthouse this past Monday.
And I am confident that I will come out of this a better person.
While looking remorseful, Bob Filner learned his sentence: probation in exchange for his guilty plea to falsely imprisoning a woman for forcibly restraining her and 2 charges of battery for kissing and groping 2 other women.
I think what he did was really, really dumb, and what he, just to go into an office and treat women the way he did was really stupid, and in some ways he did dodge a bullet here.
Attorney Dan Gilleon was also in the courtroom for Filner's sentencing. Gilleon says he'll file a sexual harassment lawsuit this week on behalf of city employee Stacey McKenzie. She claims she was groped at a city function. Also speaking after the sentencing, celebrity lawyer Gloria Allred with her client Irene McCormick Jackson by her side.
Though some may feel that Filner has paid the price for his betrayal of the public trust, I think that he is one lucky man.
She says he was lucky because the former mayor, who had been accused of being inappropriate by at least 19 women, won't do any prison time and won't have to register as a sex offender.
Registration as a sex offender would have been a very serious punishment.
Filner lost his job and part of his city pension and must now undergo extensive therapy, but says when this is all over, he looks forward to making further contributions to the city that he loves.
That was reporter Briley Oakes. In court, Filner also said the behavior that ended his career and left him with a felony rap sheet will never be repeated. He will spend the next 3 months on home confinement and a total of 3 years on probation.
And the bid to overturn the Barrio Logan Community Plan has been rejected. A Superior Court judge denies a request by the Environmental Health Coalition for a temporary restraining order. The order would have prevented the city of San Diego from taking action on the petitions. The coalition is accusing the association's signature gatherers of falsely representing the issues. The zoning plan has become an issue in the San Diego's mayoral race. Councilman David Alvarez has guided the update through City Council, while his opponent Kevin Faulkner is the leading spokesman for the shipyards.
There is a nonprofit organization in San Diego working miracles for San Diego County veterans. Ada Schmidt has that story.
In Buddy Todd Park in Oceanside, I met up with master dog trainer Sherri Waters.
The purpose is to help people that have combat PTSD and PTSD from military sexual traumas.
Sherri's brainchild is Sherri's project, Wounded Warrior Pack.
Most of the people that come to us is word of mouth through another person that's in the military, or they come from recovery care coordinators, VA hospitals, therapists, sometimes doctors. They come from all over. Most of the dogs actually come from high-kill shelters. So when we get a veteran in, we find out what the veteran needs, and then we start scoping out the high-kill shelters to see if we can match them together.
It must be a very tricky process trying to match up man's best friend.
We take into account, one, is the dog's age, because we don't want our veteran losing anything else too soon. So we usually take them to about anywhere from their birth to, 3 years of age. We also take into account gender, if they have any other pets at home, if they have children, what ages, everything. We take everything into consideration when we're trying to pair them up.
There's never any doubt in Sherri's mind the good that she's been able to do for hundreds of veterans in the San Diego area.
Would have to be when one of the guys was talking to some members of the USO, and he told them until he met me he was going to kill himself.
Reporting with Marco Puente from Buddy Todd Park, I'm Ada Schmidt, Newscene.
And more information about the Wounded Warrior Pack can be found on their Facebook page. Well, one small local drumline group is marching to the beat of their own drum and doing big things along the way.
And the Chargers were in a must-win against the Broncos to keep their playoffs hopes alive. We have highlights of yesterday's game.